It's time now for the award-winning #1 local talk show in Northeast Pennsylvania, The Sam Lesante Show. Now here's your host, Sam Lesante.
Well, welcome everyone to the Sam Lesante Show. You know, we try to present shows that bring a lot of information to you, and today, again, we have a great show for you. The Dave Pedri, who is the executive director of the Luzerne Foundation. You recall Dave was our Luzerne manager, did a fabulous job. And now he's doing a fabulous job with the Luzerne Foundation. David, how are you?
Good to see you, Sam. Thank you for having me back on. It's always a pleasure.
All your fans want to see David
I love
Pedri.
it.
I told you about the story about the lady said to me, she out here at the mall, she said, Mr. Lesante, can I ask you a question? Why? Are you related to Mr. Pedri? I said, why? He said, because you're always talking so many nice. I said, well, because he does a lot of nice things.
Well, I want to thank you, Uncle Sammy. I mean, Sammy. No. Obviously, listen, it means a lot to me that to come on this show and get the word out there. You always have me on as county manager, and that was so helpful to me to say what we're doing. And now at the Luzerne Foundation, same thing. We're just trying to wave the flag and hopefully see what we can do, and hopefully maybe others can help us on the way.
Well, the interesting thing is that when someone doesn't know about what's happening, you know, in different things, and believe me, on my shows, I learn a lot, okay?
Sure.
Over 6,000 shows, I better learn something. But you learn a lot, and sometimes you say, well, it doesn't affect me until, I want to tell you a story about a friend who was a millionaire. And he was greedy, he was selfish, he was all for himself, never wanted to help anybody, and everybody he thought was stealing from him. And he had opportunities. He could have given you $1 million and you could have done wonders with that, but he was greedy. And a lot of friends, because he had money. They didn't like him because he had money. Long story short, he hits hard times. And he loses his business, loses almost everything, lost his wife, lost his children didn't come around anymore because of what he did, and you talk about Scrooge, he made Scrooge look like, you know, Santa Claus. And so what happened was, all his friends, you know, he tried to go, but they didn't respond. He went to an organization that funds like you do, right? People that give you money, then you fund these grants.
Right.
And he found this organization to help him. And he realized that in his time, he would have been able to help hundreds and literally thousands of people,
right,
if he would have contributed to the organization, sure, so they could help people like him now.
Right.
Okay. And it was it's a sad story, but it's a lesson to be learned.
Right.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So when you have all these organizations that are funding and you're giving out, that means a lot, don't you think?
Oh, listen, absolutely. I mean, like, listen, those are the stories that you hear, and it's those people that could make a difference. And when they step up, listen, you don't need help until you need help. Yeah. And, you know, and then when you need help, it can come from any location. So we're always here at the Luzerne Foundation to have that opportunity. You know, one thing we try to do, we give out over 80 scholarships a year. So 80 scholarships go out for kids in the area, and all the kids say, well, what can I do? I want to thank you. I want to thank you. And I tell them the same thing. You're going to be, at some point in your life, you're going to be in a position to give back. Maybe not today, maybe not be 10 decades, maybe 2 decades, maybe you got to be established, you got to have a family. But at some point, I want you to start a scholarship for another kid or contribute to an opportunity for another kid. That's how you pay it forward, that's how you pay it back.
For viewers who are not that familiar with the Luzerne Foundation,
sure,
okay, tell them what the Luzerne Foundation is.
So the Luzerne Foundation is a community-based foundation. We have over about $80 million in our operating opportunities. But what we're really looking for is the community to be involved. We have over 460 separate funds. At the foundation, we give out 80 scholarships a year. But most importantly, what we do is we connect donors to causes that mean something to them. An individual can put money with the Luzerne Foundation, and we'll connect you to exactly what you want to be involved in. If you want to be involved in animal rescue or cancer support or a scholarship fund, or you want to help the library, it's our job to connect those people. Most important thing, why I always tell people my elevator pitch, Sam, is we help people do good things in Luzerne County. And if you want to do something good in Luzerne County, we can help you on your way.
In terms of some of the organizations, okay, that you have, let's highlight some of them. And if you go to the website, you'll see a zillion of
sure,
things that you're involved with, okay? Highlight some of the organizations so our viewers have some idea.
Listen, we do all different types of things. One fund that we're very, very proud of is the Miles for Michael Fund. Miles for Michael Fund was set up by the Joyce family out of Pittston. They lost a brother, unfortunately, to a cancer. It was a very sad story, and they saw what their brother went through driving back and forth to Philadelphia for chemotherapy and for treatment. And when he was there, he had the means in order to cover the tolls and the hotels, but he saw cancer patients sleeping on waiting room couches, sleeping in cars in parking lots, not having money for tolls because they lose their job, they lose their benefits, and they're driving back and forth to whatever they can. So the Miles for Michael Fund was set up by the Joyce family with the Luzerne Foundation, where we provide a $500 gift card for anybody who's currently undergoing cancer treatment. And that $500 gift card has to go to gas, tolls, hotels, anything to do with travel. That's one opportunity that we have at the Luzerne Foundation, just from that one fund. We also, like I said, over 80 scholarships, and we just had one come in yesterday. It was an individual who was a pharmacist. He passed away, and the mother said, "I want to do something. You know, he died of this disease. I want to do something to honor him or his disease." I said, "Don't support him for the disease, but what did he love? Let's focus on what he loved. Well, he loved being a pharmacist. He loved his clients. Okay. Well, we set up a scholarship at Wilkes University in their pharmacy school. Those are the opportunities that we have at the Luzerne Foundation every day."
Now, you have people, we discussed this before we were on the thing, you have a lot of people, as I mentioned, here's the story of this guy who was a multimillionaire.
Correct, yep.
And at the particular point in time, he could have, 50,000 would have been a pocket change from at the time. And he would been able to say, "Hey, Dave, look, I have 50,000 here. I want to help some," and then you would, if someone says to you, "Dave, look, I want to make a donation of $10,000, okay, do what you think is best with it."
Correct.
Okay, what would you do?
So the first thing we would do is say, obviously, we thank them for the donation, and the Luzerne Foundation, unfortunately, sometimes has a reputation of, "Hey, listen, you have to have the $10,000, $20,000, $50,000, $100,000 to come talk to us." That's not the case. Most of our funds are very modest. We're talking $500, $1,000 grants that go out annually. But if someone comes in and says $10,000, I want to do something good in the community, I would ask them what their interests are. What are you interested in? Do you like tennis? Do you like youth sports? Those are the things. What makes you happy? What are those things? What are things involved? Are you a pet owner? And what is it that causes you, that gives you passion, in order to support other people with that passion? Things like historical preservation right here in northeastern Pennsylvania is a big deal. The Wilkes-Barre Preservation Society, the Luzerne County Historical Society, keeping our arts and education alive is also a big deal. All these different theater groups that are in the area, Little Theater, KISS Theater, the Pocono Theater for the Performing Arts, all of these are great opportunities for people to get involved.
When you talk about needs, all right, there are so many people out there that are struggling right now, okay, with inflation, with the energy costs, with the gasoline prices, etc. I mean, that's reality.
Sure.
We're not making these things up. So sometimes, and we are a very proud people in northeastern Pennsylvania.
Without doubt.
Okay. And some people, they're sort of like ashamed to ask for help, all right? But really, you're in a position that you can help them. What do you say to these people, okay, that are proud, all right, and rightly so?
Right.
They were brought up the right way.
Right.
What do you say to those people?
You say everybody needs a hand sometimes. I mean, there's not a person out here that doesn't have a hand. I know in my life, in my career, what happened, things change. My family, things happen. Every single person out there needs a hand sometimes. You shouldn't be afraid to ask for help. There's an organization called Volunteers in Medicine. And Volunteers in Medicine is based in Wilkes-Barre. It's a national organization, but there's a local chapter. This is volunteer doctors and dentists and nurses that come in that provide services to the working poor. So these are individuals that have jobs, that are trying to do their best, but don't have enough money for the insurance, or they're working at somewhere with a part-time job. A lot of times these people are working 2 or 3 part-time jobs, and they have an abscess on their tooth and they can't get out of it. Volunteers in Medicine does these services for free. And those are the opportunities that we could be able to have to support them in Luzerne County.
So therefore, if someone's in need, whether it's health care or whether it's advice or whether it's energy cost, not that you have a guarantee.
Absolutely,
and I don't want
right.
people to think they're going to call you and you're going to solve their problem.
Right.
But it's a stepping stone for them.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we're a hub for nonprofits. I mean, like the Luzerne Foundation, we work with over, 500 nonprofits every single year. There are so many great people out there doing so many different things. So if we get a call from someone, hey, listen, I got someone going through this, I have a family I want to help, I could say, hey, listen, I can't provide you a check directly for that, but let me set you up with this nonprofit who does, this is exactly in their mission.
See, that's what what we're looking, I wrote here support.
Right.
Okay? Because that's where I think is important that, they have those availabilities. But the one person after Mass said to me one day, Sam, I don't giving the church has a lot of money, et cetera, et cetera. And I said, well, that's your opinion. I said, but I remember someone telling me when I was going to King's College, when you're giving, he said, you stop giving to God when he stops giving to you. I said, so just keep that in mind.
Right.
But when you look at what you've been blessed with in life,
Right.
and how you can help people, here's another thing in that you had mentioned. Even if you don't have the financial means, you can still be of help to your organization.
Absolutely.
Tell us how that works.
So, I mean, obviously, listen, if you don't have the financial means, and obviously we sit down with those donors every day, and we work with so many people who have significant dollars that donate to the Luzerne Foundation. However, if you have the opportunity to get involved, is a big thing. You know what everybody needs? Volunteers. There's this beautiful organization called Sleep in Heavenly Peace, and it's a
Sleep in Heavenly Peace.
Sleep in Heavenly Peace, and there's a local chapter, and their only job is to provide beds for kids. Now, this is a sad story. We live in northeastern Pennsylvania in 2024. We think we're doing well. My kids have beds. I'm sure your family always has beds. There's kids out there, foster kids, foster families, kids that go into a difficult situation, that lose their housing, that don't have a bed. So they're curled up on a floor with a blanket. And all Sleep in Heavenly Peace does one thing. They make beds for kids. And they have build days. You can go on their website. You can volunteer. You can donate pillows and bedding or anything else along those lines if you have the means. Or even better, come and help build these beds. And the beds are sturdy and they link together like Lincoln Logs, and they donate them directly to the location, and that kid will have a bed. And that kid has that little piece of dignity to say, hey, listen, somebody believes in you, and like things like basic human needs. Forget the Xboxes and the Christmas gifts and all the big things. How about a bed for a kid who needs it?
Isn't that something?
That's a beautiful organization, and that's a volunteer organization, fully run by volunteers. No paid local services. But if you want to be a volunteer on that, we have the information on our website, the Luzerne Foundation's website, as well as their own website, their own Facebook, and their own social media. Get involved. Give a Saturday to help those kids out, and that's how we continue to grow.
David, when you took this position, you probably knew something about Luzerne, but you see a lot of happy times and a lot of sad times. And to be able to
Sure. Listen, I'm blessed because it's a great place to work, because I get to work with people who want to do good things. So it's all nice people doing nice things, but you do see some we do see the cancer patient, the family affected by a disease. You do see those things. You see a mother and father who just had to bury their son, and they want to do something to support them. You do see those days. But it's also my honor to help people when in a time of need they reached out to us. That means something.
It means a lot. Folks, I'm talking to Dave Pedri. He's the executive director of Luzerne Foundation. Years ago, I never knew what the Luzerne Foundation was all about. I didn't know what United Way, I knew, but when you start breaking everything down as to how much help could be done, in fact, that we can participate, whether it's financially or just giving our talents, it could really help. We come back, we'll talk a little bit more to Dave. Stay with us. Welcome back to the Sam Lesante Show, folks. And remember, folks, I really appreciate you making the Sam Lesante Show the #1 talk show in northeastern Pennsylvania. That's from the scientific poll from Susquehanna Polling and Research. They were voted the #1 research company, polling company in the United States by Real Clear. So I appreciate that very much. All of our programs, neighborhood programming, we're very proud to present them, and on our website, ssptv.com, our YouTube channel. My email, sam@ssptv.com. Please, if you have any comments, I get a lot of them, and I appreciate that very much. My guest today is Dave Pedri, no stranger to the show. You've seen him when he was the county manager. Now he is the executive director for the Luzerne Foundation. Interesting things that this organization does. Some of the things that you do, you have nonprofits.
Correct.
Okay, so tell us about the nonprofits, the forums, and et cetera.
So at the Luzerne Foundation, we're always trying to find other people to work with. Who's doing something different? Who's doing something new? How do we support our nonprofits in Luzerne County? There are so many different areas out there that people are doing great things. Hazleton area alone has an incredible amount of people doing great things. But it's our opportunity to say, what's one way for everybody to get together? So we have these grant cycles, and the first grant cycle that we do is for our nonprofit forum. And these are for $5,000 to $10,000 grants for all nonprofits in Luzerne County that could apply. And that just occurred last month in April. It was up for 6 weeks, and we had 82 grant applications. So there are 82 nonprofits that applied for these grant applications. I mean, that's the kind of need that we have here in Luzerne County. The committee had a very tough decision, but they cut it down to 30. And those 30 got to be able to present at our nonprofit forum. Now, what I call this is like the Shark Tank pitch, okay? So like the nonprofit gets up and they have 3 minutes to tell the board why they are there, why they need a grant, and what they can do. And all the nonprofits this year absolutely knocked it out of the park.
I can imagine.
You know, I mean, and one that really stood out for me, help a diabetic child. You know, there are kids out there that have diabetes that sometimes insurance doesn't cover all the costs of insulin. Sometimes they only cover portions of it. Sometimes they don't cover. So a family needs that assistance, and that's what they do. I mean, there's also the mental health aspect of that. What does that mean for a kid who can't play sports, who can't do these other things? Like they approach all those different things. So it's always interesting to see new people in new nonprofits.
How do you determine? I mean, like you said, there's 80-some people.
Right.
And everyone has a great cause.
Oh, they're all great.
I mean, everyone. I mean, you can't say you hear one, oh my, and then you're saying, well,
Right.
How do you decide, David?
It's a very difficult process. The committee weighs a couple different factors. The first is the need of the particular organization. The second is, what's the outreach of that organization? Are they going to help 10 people with this $5,000 grant, or are they going to help 100 people or 1,000 people? And also, you know, did we fund them in the past? And what did they do with that? This is our opportunity to work with a nonprofit, and you give them the first $5,000 grant. And you say, okay, show me what you're going to do with this. Show me, come back, work on this, come back in 9 months and tell me what you want to do. Because maybe there's a $25,000 grant opportunity at the end of that rainbow, but show me how you get it. You did this first one. Job opportunities in northeastern Pennsylvania is a big one. We're working with a bunch of different organizations trying to help kids get involved in the trades and have these other opportunities. There's a reason why you pay your plumber and any sort of handyman around the house incredible amounts of funding, because there's nobody for those jobs. HVAC, plumbing. Listen, there are amazing opportunities out there for people who want them, and there's nonprofits who specifically are helping kids get into the trades.
Boy, you're so right. Yeah, you're so right.
And when you need the call, you'll pay whatever it is when the toilet's backed up.
And with all due respect to them, I mean, they have the trade.
Oh, without a doubt.
And they work hard at it.
Without a doubt.
And they're called out at different times of the hours, et cetera. And so, you know, it's like, and now, I don't like when you gouge somebody.
Of course.
That's not right. But I mean, it's just, you know, we have great plumbers here and electricians in this area.
Listen, HVAC and handyman and construction, and you know, I was at the Luzerne County Community College graduation where they graduated 10 welders, and these welders were between 19 and 23 years old. Those kids have jobs right out of college. LCC's got they'll come out with no debt. They'll have jobs the rest of their life. If they hustle, they can make 6 figures. It's an impressive program.
You know, we have so many great educational programs around here. I was very proud to be one of the people to build the LCC.
And you were there at a key time,
Yeah,
Sam.
we were there. Well, it was chairman with Mike Udasic, and we built that college.
Right.
And when I see what it is today, you know, and they're going to get a great president, you know, John Udicek.
100%.
And Tom Leary did a great
Phenomenal job.
I hired Tom, incidentally.
Is that right?
I was one of the people who hired Tom.
Wow.
And it makes you feel good. especially when someone says, I'm going to LCC, I'm in dental, I'm this, I'm medical, etc. You know, so I started a nursing program.
Oh my God.
And the culinary program.
Wow.
Turned out the two of them to be, along with the board of trustees.
Those are two of the greatest programs. That RN program,
Yeah.
that nursing program. You get a job the rest of your life. You walk out of there 22 years of age, 19 years of age with a job the rest of your life. No student loan debt. It's beautiful. And what we need here in the area.
Yeah. Okay, so now you have some people that really cannot afford to give you maybe $2,000, $3,000, but they could probably give you $100 a month.
Great.
You know, do you have programs where, you know, I could certainly help you by giving you $100 a month, making a commitment, stuff like that?
Yeah, absolutely. So those are the opportunities that we have. We have a bunch of different funds, and sometimes we have funds that speak to a person. Is it like I said? Is it we have one fund that only supports SPCA and animal rescue? Is that something that you want to be doing? Is there a scholarship fund? You know, we have one fund. This woman set up a fund. Her husband passed away, and he wants to set up a scholarship. She sends $125 a month in a credit card donation, automatically goes off, and the money gets sent to the Luzerne Foundation. We send her a thank you and a donation letter every month. The money gets invested, it grows. She provides a $750 a year scholarship to a kid.
There you go.
Okay, now listen, $750,
Hey.
I don't know anybody else handing out $750.
That's right, that's
you know?
right. Listen,
But she does what she can. She does what she can when she can. So we talk about that guy who's that millionaire. You know, what can you do when you can do it is really the question. What did you do with the opportunity when you had it?
And that's, you know, it's like Bishop Timlin said on my show, and there was a guy who was always up front with everything, never vacillated. He said, you know, when I said, well, Bishop, you know, you notice a lot of people, some people give up on their faith. They don't go to their respective churches anymore. And he said, you know, it's interesting, Sam. He said, because sometimes people are living good, you know, but they don't find time to worship, you know, whatever denomination. And he said, but then they hit a bump in the road. And he said, when you hit that bump in the road, Sam, is when they say, will you pray for my brother? Will you pray for my sister? Will you pray for this? Will you pray for that? And that's okay. Sure. But, you know, it's interesting that when you have the ability to be able to help somebody, whether it's $50 or $100 a month, it's interesting. I mean, I would not know how to distribute it when you listen to all those stories. I mean, like you said, you could go in happy, come out sad, go in sad, come out happy. I mean, your wife must say, what's wrong with you now, Dave, you know?
Listen, at the end of the day, though, you're helping people doing good things, okay? So that's the best thing about it. Listen, I came from county government. Not too many days to walk out of there where I was like, boy, everybody was great today. I didn't walk out of county government a lot of times and be like, guess what? Everybody thinks I'm doing a great job. You know, like everybody had an opinion. But now I walk out of the Luzerne Foundation and I'm like, you know what? Like, listen, I couldn't help everybody, but I helped this one.
Yeah.
And this is something that I was able to push in the right direction.
Yeah. Thank you, Board of Trustees.
Absolutely.
Of the board, you keep. You know, we're always available to our community news. You know, if you have information or etc.
Sam, I want to thank you because these are the shows that draw people's attention. I guarantee you, a viewer is going to see this and be like, hey, listen, I want to help out. I want to volunteer. I want to be part of something. So thank you for having me on. Always.
My pleasure. My pleasure. You did a great job as you converted me. You know, Rick Morelli was. I said, nah. And then when you took over and you did the job that you did,
I appreciate it.
I said, you know, Dave Pedri takes like of his dad, maybe his mom too, did a great job, and you really did, Dave. You really did, and you're doing great with Luzerne
appreciate it so
Foundation.
much. It's a great place.
Go to their website, my friends. You know, whatever you can do, help. But at least you may know somebody who could afford. Maybe you can't afford to do anything, but you may know friends say, hey, Jim, you know, I saw Dave on Sam's show, and boy, why don't you give him $500? You got, you know know who these people are. Remember my email, sam@ssptv.com. Any comments or questions, please email. We'll see you next time.